My hubby and I were married in 1990, and he's passed now. And at the time, he had told me that he had cancer before I met him as a young man, but he told me that he was in remission. And I thought that meant that he was well. And in my family, no one had broken bones or stitches. If we got sick, we just, chicken soup in the blanket and the thermometer, and you got better after a while. No major things where people had to go to the hospital. And otherwise you used herbs. I didn't understand. And I was 19 when we got married. We were both raised religiously conservative. Courtship and engagement was quick, and you got married. You were supposed to start your family. And like I said, I was 19. I didn't know anything. I thought I was smart. I didn't know anything. I was this little girl. And we lived in a rural area. We lived near his parents. But we didn't have a phone. We didn't have a landline, which is pertinent to this story. But I think he had some other, smaller incidences. I don't know. I don't remember some of it. I just remember this one big night where it really blew up into a huge episode where, again, and this was within a month of our wedding, and I didn't know what was going on. But he became incoherent. He lost his bodily functions. He couldn't walk. He wet himself. This was over his pupils were dilated. It was just really scary watching his body do these things. And his whole half of his body was super hot and the other side was cold. It was really, really scary. But I was just thinking, what is this? You shake. I was expecting people to shake it off and you just rest in bed, But I was like, this doesn't seem, and again, I didn't have a phone to call a doctor, to call his parents, even though we lived near them. I was actually on my knees praying, like, can you help me figure out if I need to go get a doctor? And even being in the middle of the night, I was afraid of bothering people that I didn't know because I'd just gotten married into this family. I finally decided, and after the prayer, I finally decided I needed to do something. So I left him. I had to leave him. I drove the car to my in-laws' house and went in their house. It was a small town. They left their doors open. So, people left their doors open. I went into the house, middle of the night, and I tiptoed. I was so embarrassed and scared, but I tiptoed into their bedroom and tapped my father-in-law on his thing to tell him, and he roused a little bit, and I told him what was happening. And, the rest of, I'm not going to tell the whole story because my time's almost up for a short, but we kind of, spent the rest of that night and day doing what needed to be done for him. But and he recovered from that particular situation. But that was very scary for my first month of marriage.